boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Man, we had some wild markets after hours, but this is earnings season, so this is what happens. I mean, it keeps it exciting. We'll see. But Amazon, yeah, actually, Amazon missed earnings, which was bizarre, and they catapulted. You have Roku, which might as well be called Rock You, because anybody that puts money into that one just gets rocked absolutely out of the gate. We got just volatility, crazy. I don't know. Was there new? I mean, we were pumping up. I didn't see the last 5-10 minutes of the market. Was there any news that came out? It looks like the market's kind of dipping a little bit. I don't know if anybody caught what's going on or what's happening, but I know you guys are still piling on in. We got Albert in the house. Good morning. Andrew's in the house. Andrew says he hasn't seen any. All right. Yeah, I didn't see anything either. So I don't know. But we got Bill. Good morning, Bill. Brian, Chris, Doug, KK, Eric. What is happening? We got Ernesto in the house. George is here. Jenny's here. My boy, Greg Gilbert. What is happening? GW. What is going on? Good morning, Jake Phillips, Jay Linder. John in the house. What's up, John? Glad you got into Slack yesterday, John. Oof. It's all set up. Takes a minute. If you're coming from, I think you said you're coming from, what do you used to use? Team? Is that what it's called? That's the Microsoft one, I think. All right, we got KP in the house. We got Kevin. Teams. Yeah, Teams. Yeah, it's like anything. You just watch it. You get used to it. That's all. Takes a minute. It's all the same stuff, just in different locations. Good morning, Tony. We got Sylvan in the house. Renee, Mike, Matt, Liza, Kevin, KP. You guys are piling in. We got my YouTube team. Oof, got to get jerseys for the YouTube team. We got Haley. Good morning. Peggy D's in the house. Haley says, good evening. Good evening. Where you at, Haley? Where do you live? Good evening. Is the report news bad for the day? Honestly, I don't know if there's news coming out. I tried to look real quick if anything came out. I didn't see anything in particular for like this last dip. U.S. personal income. Okay, so looks like we got a report. Hold on. All right, we might get a report. So U.S. personal income month over month for June is 0.06 versus 0.05. So estimate prior was 0.06. That one seems okay. U.S. personal spending month over month, June 1st, 100% versus estimated prior 3%. So spending is increased. Core PCE price index. So we just had a bunch of reports drop. That's why. Price index is up. Okay, that's not good. China security regulator approved trading for some soybean and soy oil options. That won't move the markets. Yeah, I haven't really seen anything. I mean, like I said, you got a couple reports that came in, but nothing too crazy. So I don't know. But we did. I mean, we were jumping after hours too. So we will see. But let's take a look. I'm going to throw up trading view. We'll take a look at where the markets are at and try to determine and figure out together as a team where we think this thing can actually go to. So we will see. But let me do that new screen share. Alrighty, so we got start with the SPY. What happened after hours? Pretty relatively decent gap up, to say the least. We had a massive run yesterday, and for you guys trading live with me, I think even pre-market, I was like, I want to stick bullish. I just want to stick bullish. And then at open, we started dipping, and they did test my patience a little bit. I'm like, I really don't want to go bearish. I think we even attempted somewhere, if this breaks down here, from that point, we're like, all right, if this thing drops past this 398, We have some room down to like 396-ish. We even watched that trap coming together, and then we were able to take Tesla. We tried to run Tesla for 3 hours, but we just could not break Tesla out of the gates yesterday. But it looks very similar to this. I think we just got. I think I ended up closing. It was an all-day trade. I ended up closing like an hour for the day, whatever, for the Tesla trade. But all good. Make money. Can't be too upset. But yeah, so we did pounce higher after hours tonight. This is also a retest gap after a very strong day, so just be careful at open again. Right now, I mean, let's flip this thing over to an hourly chart. Right now, the chart is still telling me lean bullish. Today could be a little bit of a chop. This line up here, this line is it's going to be very highly protected in the sense of huge support resistance line. So 409.62. Not sure if we even get there today. Who knows? We're starting to come into a little bit of a high volume area in general, but that dotted line is out of a much longer term basis. That's a very well protected, very highly area of interest in terms of volume. So you saw we immediately came down. This could be one big massive test up into that 409.62. Honestly, I think if we get there or get very close or even at open, start looking into some puts in this area after we just had the massive run. Give yourself some time on those puts. But I will give you the blessing on that because once, and then pretty much once, if we start breaking like this 415 zone, something like that, just sell it for a loss. I mean, use it for protection, whatever the case. But massive run that we've just been on, and we are getting to a very highly valued area for support resistance. And then I think we start in a worst case, at least retesting a little bit. Again, you guys could call it what you want. I'll just call it recession. I mean, I don't know if that's allowed. People are like, nah, we're changing it. So who knows? It shows inflation has not peaked. Consumer confidence is at 10. Oh, we have consumer confidence today. By the way, consumer confidence is at like a 50-year low. So, I mean, again, whether you want to define recession in 2 quarters, I mean, that's the definition we've been using forever. 2 quarters of negative GDP, that's a recession. Okay, even if you want to change that definition, consumer confidence is at a 50-year low. Take that for what you want. But if people do not want to spend money, and then their case on the whole thing as well, unemployment is still low. True, unemployment's low, but unemployment's a lagger, right? So usually you get into the recession first, and then the companies, the employers start to look at the current economy and state of things and go, all right, maybe, you know what, maybe we don't need as many people and we should start freezing some of the hiring, start maybe laying off a couple people, tighten up our books a little bit because we are in a recession. So yes, unemployment's still low. I mean, besides, and that's not even including the money that the government is just sending people to sit home because they're not even accounted for in those numbers, number one. But two, usually the jobs are lagging, right? So call it what you want. I know they're redefining terms, and that's fine. I'm hip with it, but just FYI. But in terms of SPY, wait for the pullback. It's transitory recession. Yeah, it's only going to be for 18 quarters. We'll see. But yeah, wait for that pullback. Be cautious at open. Let's take a look at the Qs real quick. Q. People are retiring too. I think that happens all the time, though. The question is, why are they retiring? That's the question. Is it because they just crushed it in the Bitcoin world? Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Qs look a little bit healthier still. Again, it is a retest gap, though. But we're not pulling into that big major area for the SPY. We're going to probably face a little bit of resistance somewhere around 311.90. So that would be my target today. We're not too far from it. So if we do run up, that's probably going to be met with some resistance. And then maybe we sell off then. Maybe at open we're selling. I think this is a gap that will get filled. we've had massive 2 weeks in a row. People are going to probably want to take some profits before the weekend, I can only assume. And we'll see what consumer confidence, how that affects the market and all that as well. So timing is going to be everything today. Let's go with, I mean, day trading, I guess timing is everything all the time, I guess. Nvidia with a little bit of a gap down, so that's actually looking a little bit different than the rest of the market. We are right into a heavy area of that. If we start to really break this 179, I'm going to set a little alert. If we break 179, I'm going to go with 25. I want to be alerted somewhere in that zone. Not a lot of resistance in a bullish direction. So we got to break that. And then we have zero interest of anybody stopping or prohibiting movement up until maybe this 186, 185 zone. Otherwise, we should have a lot of support at this point, at least on the video, but it is gapping down currently. The trend is still bullish for right now, but we are right below yesterday's VPOC, still above the 10. Probably going to be a little bit of a slower mover, I would assume, out of the gate today. We'll see. Apple with I didn't even, let's see what they did. I think they beat, right? They reported $1.20 per share. Estimate was $1.16. Reported 82, almost 83 billion. And the estimate was, so they beat on every front. Relatively decent for Apple. What you guys expecting less than their Apple? This has so much room to run at this point. This has a lot of room. Again, people are going to be profitable. We ran up into these earnings. I'm actually going to throw an alert down for somewhere in 159.51 zone. I'm going to see if we can get a little bit of a pullback. Rock's in the house. What's up, Rock? But yeah, let's see if we get a little pullback on this one. It has a ton of room. Really, first stop on it, probably 163.19. Otherwise, I could see this thing getting up to even 165.83. That would be a big move today after we're already gapping a lot. So expect a pullback. Maybe we can get some kind of a fill around that 159.50 zone. Will give us better risk reward, but we'll be patient at open, and we'll see what happens. Tesla, you beast of burden from yesterday. I'm gonna get you today. I'm hitting my 3 R's on you today, buddy. I don't play games. All right, let's see. I've got nothing but time. I could outlast you, Tesla. You cannot shake me out if I never sell. See, we get a pullback. Again, it is a strong gap. I'm going to throw an alert on. The problem is all my alerts end up popping off as soon as the market opens. But this one is, I believe, gapping up a little bit. Let's see if we get a small little retest into some volume. Otherwise, Tesla does have some room today to continue bullish. First stop, I would say 165.84. Ultimately, I think at some point we get back to 880. I would assume. Liza wants to look at JBLU. Is there a good place to find guidance numbers from companies? I have a hard time finding those in the earnings summary. I think Matt was using, what in the world was Matt using? Something Wall Street, Smart Wall Street yesterday, something like that. If anybody was there for Matt DeLong's presentation yesterday, I think that one covered all of it. I usually use I usually just go through the K1s, honestly. Simply Wall Street. Yep, there it is. Simple Wall Street, Simply Wall Street. One of those, but they have all the guidance in there too. Finviz, I believe, does. I thought they did to some extent. Liza wants to look at JBLU. Let's take a look at JBLU. JBLU. We are at a very heavily protected area. So probably somewhere right in this 838 zone is going to be some kind of resistance. Was there news or anything on this one? You do have earnings, so if you're doing any kind of swings, just be careful. We have August 2nd. So legitimately beginning of next month, these guys are coming out with earnings. I haven't seen anything as far as it's gapping down a little bit, but you're right at a 50% retrace of yesterday. You do have one unprotected, one untested VPOC down at 822 and a heavier resistance up there. So I would say probably this one doesn't do anything too crazy, just inside gap today from yesterday. And then watch that 838 level. So if we start breaking that 838 level, and I'd actually give it a couple more pennies just for insurance, I'd go probably somewhere around 840, see if you get above there, and then maybe it's good to go bullish. Otherwise, you're probably going to get some kind of chop on this one. They're acquiring other airline. When a company, and recently we're stair stepping down on those VPOCs too. So I wouldn't get too bullish on it yet. Acquiring a company could do some wonders to a stock. So obviously, in a short-term basis, the company is spending money. Most investors are looking for short-term, like what's happening. And anytime a company spends money, even if it does help in the long term, as far as like just adding extra stuff to their portfolio, the company's still spending money. So next quarter that comes out, they're going to show that they spent more money or have bigger losses from buying. So there's always a short-term and long-term perspective of things. Right now, though, they're not really doing too much, but you're gapping down a little bit from yesterday. But as day trade wise, I don't really see anything too crazy on it. Not yet. And we have Amazon. Jeff Bezos making some more money today. I think he could finally afford for them to take apart the historic bridge so he could get his yacht out of there in Europe. We are in the middle of nowhere in terms of volume, pretty much covering that gap. Honestly, this is a wide gap. We have a little bit of resistance above us, and people should be profitable. They missed on earnings, which is interesting. It has to be guidance. Their revenue beat. So they reported 121. They're expected 118, almost 119. So an extra $2 billion between friends, reported they lost earnings per share, but they did gain on revenue. So I guess people were excited about that. And yeah, I think it's Amazon. So yeah, it's a good company. I think this entire jump is probably unwarranted, to be honest. This is a big, massive move, but a really, really, really nice gap. I don't know how I want to play it yet. I would assume buy the dip. Honestly, if I could get it close to 130.78, that's where I would like to. Whether I could get there or not is a whole nother thing. Did my alert go through? There we go. All my alerts are going to go off of because they're all jumping above it. They lost $3 billion on their investment for the electric. Yeah, but they wrote off the $3 billion for Rivian. So they wrote that off already. Otherwise, they'd beat earnings too. Bear call spread. Maybe I give the whole market some time in the beginning. I wouldn't jump to anything right out of the gate. Rock says Amazon to $200. Today, like at open. Oh yeah, Roku. Yeah, Roku. That was a good one. Kathy Woods is just getting her butt kicked. She got Teladoc got absolutely clapped. Roku got clapped. What's the other ones in her portfolio? I think she has Square, which they didn't get clapped yet. I mean, they're down like a lot. I thought she had Square in there. Yeah, I don't know about that. That better be a magical 5 years, because we're probably already a year in from her 5-year plan. We're approaching that year. Like, I'm going to get Kathy Woods a birthday cake and everything and say happy 1 year. I can't wait for this next 4 years for the crazy returns on this portfolio you're promising. I mean, the things that she's doing to people's money is absolutely insane. It's nuts. I don't know. Patience. I mean, just keep selling the dream. She's very good at it. So yeah, this is $64. Everything looks pretty atrocious with the earnings on this one. There was one more company too. Oh, Intel. Intel got killed. Intel looked horrible. Everything about Intel, and I like Intel. So this is a tough one for me. It's a tough one. Like, I own shares, nothing too crazy, but I'm not adding on the dip. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna let it do its thing. If we get some kind of a bounce, I'll probably get some protective puts. But Intel looked horrible. The good news for Intel, though, is they will be getting some of that, I think, $200 billion or whatever Biden said yesterday for the chip manufacturers. So they're just going to get free money, which is nice. But they looked like they are being very, very poorly mismanaged. This is a horrible gap. Major gap. Any rips on this one, anytime this one goes up, buy more puts. Even if this thing starts to break, which we're right there now, 35.49. I mean, there's nothing holding this thing from just plummeting into the 20s, $25. There was nothing positive on their earnings whatsoever. Yeah, I got some shares in the long term. Yep. Still rocking the divvies. But again, it's not too large of a position where I have to really be concerned. There will be a point, because I do like Intel in general. I think they'll be fine long term. I just think for the next couple of quarters, they better start flipping some of those. I need to see a lot more on their quarterly earnings for me to say, okay, I'm going to start adding. Otherwise, I'll let it just drip down until it doesn't anymore. But yeah, I'm not adding shares. Yeah, the long term, I don't really. I mean, with how I base the long term, I mean, I buy companies I think are undervalued. I did where was I getting in? I got in like 45. I think I did do an add-on around 38-ish, somewhere around there. I'm just thinking that it's just completely undervalued. But based on that report, I mean, I have to reassess that entire position. It's not. I'm not selling, but I'm not buying either. XOM, I think, reported this morning, right? I didn't get a chance to see their earnings. Haley's in Australia. XOM, yep. So I got Apple, I got XOM. I don't have any Amazon in my portfolio yet. There was another one that was running like crazy, I think, today. By the way, I think we all missed Plug yesterday. Did anybody see Plug yesterday? Plug went nuts. I had that in my portfolio. I was like, oh, this one's up 25% today. Okay. Yeah, so nice little gap. Again, we're gapping on all these things. They're all retest gaps, and we are running into a little bit of resistance, maybe somewhere around 95.66. I mean, gas was $5 and higher in some places. Do we not expect them to do good? I don't know. I don't know. CVX is moving too. We got Bros, BROS. Bros, stair step up, a little bit of a pullback. We should have a little bit of support forming on Bros. So this one is gapping down about 60 cents, but it's a little too soon to say yes, we're going to break out and go, but I don't mind catching a pullback maybe somewhere in the 36.68. So obviously a little bit of a downtrend. Nice VPOC yesterday. That one clears. So we actually had, this is our third one actually. So we had, or second one, we had one staircase up. That's two. We have a new trend growing all day yesterday. We're putting the stair step for VPOC. We got that nice close above a whole bunch of them. In that case, I think this is probably a buy the dip opportunity in bros. This is probably a attempt for like 36.50, nah, probably higher than that, 36.65-ish. Looks decent to me. Looks like they're trying at least. Just, you know, love a good college try. PayPal looks ready to take an inside break. All right. PayPal, which again, I think they had a activist investor buying up some shares of PayPal. So PayPal could be of interest for actually the next couple of days. I guess I would trade it at some point. Let me take some of these off. All right, PayPal. Oh, yeah, that's the other one. She's got Kathy Wood's got Coinbase too, I think. She's getting killed. Yeah, so the only thing though on PayPal, we do have a lot of volume areas. So again, we are pulling into a lot of resistance on a bunch of things after these moves. Eventually, I mean, I know everybody likes when the markets go up, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but again, we are technically in a recession. I don't care what they say. We're also hitting a lot of resistance over here from back in beginning of June sometime. So watch that area. Might get a little wonky there. Anything above probably 88.47, we should have the ability to kind of fly from that point, but we could be running into a little bit of a chop. And again, it is gapping up. It is a retest gap into some chop. I would expect, or at least would like to see some kind of fade. But yeah, definitely nice little gap on a daily chart. Daily charts starting that little bullish move. So yeah, I'd be leaning a little more bullish than bearish, but I'd be catching it on a dip more than anything. Wait for that dip to come in. Walmart, WMT. You want to short Walmart. They have their earnings coming out soon. If you guys remember, they did pretty much throw out a negative forecast, which actually shot Amazon down as well. Amazon did beat. I think Amazon sandbagged some of their numbers, to be honest, but last quarter, I think they sandbagged a little bit. Yeah, if you're going to try to short, probably try or attempt around this 129. We're still above the 10 EMA on a daily chart. Targets down to the short side of things would be 125, but this is a gap and go. We're pretty much coming in to retest that little gap spot on the chart. So just be careful of that. It is a retest. Short would probably be an attempted move. It's kind of, until we break that 10 EMA though, I'm not loving it as much in terms of shortness, but it's not horrible. We only have 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Thoughts on Zim real quick. ZIM. We're starting to push bullish. We are above the 10 EMA. We have if you guys want to play a 10 EMA on a daily chart, it is there. Entry will be somewhere around the 49.40 zone, but probably a better spot to buy just for risk to reward wise. 48.13, that keeps you still above that 10 EMA. I would probably throw a stop down somewhere in the 45.53 zone. Maybe give yourself a little more space. 44.95. Really, honestly, it shouldn't break this little wick from yesterday. Nice little hammer, though. Did not break it yet, but it is a 10 EMA. I would try to buy it as close to that VPOC as possible. 26 seconds, YouTube. Love you guys. But unfortunately, this is the last time for a little bit that we got to disconnect, because all next week we do have free week at Real Life Trading. Just go to reallifetrading.com. The very first top left tab says free week. Could not be much easier to navigate and find. Make sure you guys click on it, put your names in, your email. It costs you nothing. It's a freemium. And then all next week, you could be rocking the markets with us, taking advantage of all the live classes that we have. Otherwise, market is open. You guys are incredible. I will catch you guys all